Wow, it feels like I'm getting interrogated by the FBI with this floodlight right now. In this video, I'm going to be unveiling all of my secrets. Yes, all of my secrets. I'm going to share exactly how I'm going to make $300,000 this year. And just saying that brings me a sense of knowing that I'm so present with that thought and I know that it's going to happen. It's already happened in my mind. It's about 12 o'clock right now. It's about midnight. We're grinding right now. We are making this video. I'm shooting this on my phone with the tripod. Let's jump into this. So before I get into the exact nitty gritty of this is what I'm doing here, this is what I'm doing here, I just want to start with one simple thought exercise. There's this quote that was from, I believe, you probably know this quote. I believe Aristotle or Seneca said it. And basically how this quote goes is, ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is blissful. What you are ignorant to, you are unaware of, and therefore you are blissful of it, right? And the path of the businessman is looked at as a path of pain, right? The path to the top of the mountain is not an easy path by all means. We get that, right? But the question that no one seems to be addressing is, why can't that be a blissful path, right? Everyone thinks that in entrepreneurship, they have to face the music, face the pain, head on, face it, go through it with force. And the question I have for you is, why? Is that simply just a paradigm that you've been, instilled towards with the amount of reels and TikTok business things that you're looking at on a daily basis? Why do you believe that? Where did you get that information from? The question I have for you is, if ignorance is bliss, then can we force the path to become blissful? Because if the path is blissful, then the path is going to be much more enjoyable and we're going to reach that rather than quitting, right? So this is my protocol. I'm going to be blindly setting and then doing for the next little bit here. When I mean next little bit, I mean next few months. So when you go into something with a presupposition, with a pre-knowledge base, you know how that's going to be, and therefore you are unignorant of how that experience is going to be. If you've gone skydiving before, you know that skydiving is scary, and then now when you go skydiving again, you know that it's scary, right? So that just keeps reaffirming itself in your mind. And even when you're not skydiving, you know that skydiving is scary, simply due to the fact that you're not ignorant to it and therefore you're not blissful to it, right? So if you're somewhat ignorant to it and you're blindly setting and then just blindly executing, then you can stay in a state of bliss. Now you might be saying, okay, why wouldn't I just face the music and face the pain and go through, ram on, head on? The reason most entrepreneurs fail is simply due to the fact that they quit, not because their business actually fails, right? So if I can etch around this and know my place within my businesses, then I can see myself never quitting, right? So what I mean blindly setting and then doing, this is going to act as the base for everything that you're going to do and everything that I'm doing, right? So what we're doing is, we're starting the day, we are pre-planning the day, we are pre-planning the week, right? We are setting, and then we are executing, right? And what you do is you leave time to reiterate and change, because without that iterative process, you're not going to get anywhere. You constantly have to be improving, right? But you have to give enough time so that once you start that task, once you start that activity, you're not iterating 2 seconds after you started. For me, let's do a few days to potentially even a week, right? So I'm going to set my week's goal. I'm going to set my week's vision. I'm going to do this much input, this much input, this much input, no thought about the output, stay in that blissful zone. If I'm ignorant, so what? Say that I'm ignorant. And then I'm going to execute on that plan for a week. I'm not going to worry about the output. I'm not going to worry about anything else other than simply putting the input in. I'm going to do everything that I said that I was going to do. If it's going to the gym once a day, certain amount of cardio every day, certain amount of food I'm eating every day, business outreach, messaging, hiring an employee, whatever, you're going to just act blindly on that. Period. I don't give a shit. You should not be looking at the output, just input focused. Then, after a week, you're going to look, and then you're going to iterate, do the same thing next week, and just blindly execute on the input. And you see how me talking about this just makes the process so much more freeing, right? A lot of you guys, what you'll do is you'll sit down without any pre-plan, you'll do the tasks that you think you need to do, and then you'll question if the tasks that you're doing are the right tasks, and then you iterate before testing. And no wonder you're not blissful. It just makes sense, right? And then we get kind of into the paradigm of how we are going to be blindly setting in what regard, right? So for me, who am I? What am I going to be doing? What are the tasks I'm going to be doing? For me, I am building personal brand, focusing on that. That's going to be a lot for me, right? And I just wanted to touch on this one last point just before I end the video here. It's getting a little bit late. Is when you're blindly setting and you're blindly doing, it's so freeing. It's so freeing. You're just going to keep working, right? Your only discouragement comes from the fact that something is not working. So if you see that, hey, I don't know if it's working or if I don't know it's working, then your brain kind of goes into a curiosity mode and you keep going, right? And when you provide value, once you're doing something that's providing a sort of value to the universe, what happens is there becomes a disbalance, right? There becomes a disbalance. The polarity, the energies become slightly disbalanced in the universe towards you, right? You're giving something away for free. You're providing value for free. What that does is slight tweak in terms of the energy of the universe. And then eventually the universe will repay in form of that compensation in terms of value back to you. It's all a circle. You have to trust it. So I went to church. So this church that I went to on Sunday, I don't go to church that often, but sometimes I'll go to church. And the pastor was talking about sowing and reaping, and basically how it is inevitable. It's inevitable that when you sow the seed and you plant the seed, that you're going to reap the fruit. It's period, right? That's just how it works. It's inevitable, right? So you cannot, right, half sow the seed, half plant the seed, and then expect you to bear fruits, right? Provide value, blindly do, blindly go, and just trust that it's going to happen, right? You don't, and this is the thing, I don't even understand this fully, but you don't understand how the universe functions. You just don't. You just don't understand how the universe functions. I don't understand how the universe functions. Nobody understands how the universe functions. Nobody, right? 0 people understand how the universe functions, right? So why not trust it, right? The difference of polarities in terms of, this is one example of giving value and receiving, giving charity and then receiving back, right? It's all a loop, it's all balanced. Just all you have to do is just focus on that sowing aspect, sowing your seeds, the input. Once that input is there, just keep focusing on that, and trust me, it's inevitable. It's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So this is exactly how I'm gonna make 300K this year. If you come back to this video in a year and I haven't made 300K, then I'm gonna be pretty disappointed. Do you notice how in this video I didn't talk at all about like Facebook ads and tactics and whatnot? Yeah, so that's kind of why. Like everyone's focusing on the nitty gritty and their foundation is fucked, right? So focus on that and just, if you watch this, if I were you, I would go back and take notes. These are very important points. I learned these the hard way. And now I'm iterating them and putting them back into my life because this is what's going to make me 300K this year.